Good evening. The fallout from the collapse of Wolverhampton-based Carillion continues, with fears that jobs could be lost at small construction firms. Carillion went into liquidation, owing millions of pounds to creditors, including scores of companies here in the West Midlands. Official receivers have asked all employees and subcontractors to continue working, but there's still so much uncertainty. Our business correspondent Peter Plisner has been assessing the impact.
Construction work at a standstill today at the new Metropolitan Hospital in Smethwick. Workers here were sent home yesterday lunchtime. This was one of Carillion's biggest public sector projects, but also reported to be one of its biggest liabilities.
What is the government going to be doing about ensuring the flow of funding and work?
Local MP John Speller has already sought reassurance in Parliament about the project.
Discussions are taking place, Mr Speaker, with the trusts, with Carillion managers and contractors, PwC as special manager in the liquidation on behalf of the official receiver, and the lenders to the project companies, so that construction activities can continue without material disruption in coming days on crucial projects which the government strongly supports.
But while those discussions take place, and they won't be easy, this is, after all, a complex project. Some small contractors who work here are concerned about how they'll cope with wages still to pay and money still owed to them. This Wolverhampton builders merchant supplies some of them.
These are small family businesses, and it's their whole livelihood. It affects their employees, their family, and everybody connected with their company, and it's a tragedy for small businesses.
Carillion's demise came despite frantic activity over the last few days to keep the company afloat. Last Wednesday, management presented a rescue plan to its lenders, who are owed millions of pounds, but by Friday it emerged that the plan had been rejected. Over the weekend, talks took place with the government about possible loan guarantees, but yesterday morning it all came to nothing when the company finally collapsed. Today, a special task force set up by Wolverhampton City Council is available to help those affected.
Obviously, whilst things are uncertain at the moment, one of the things we want to do is make sure we can share as much information with people as possible to put their minds at rest as best we can.
Official receivers are today spending a second day at Carillion's HQ in Wolverhampton. Their efforts will be focused on keeping public sector contracts held by the company going and seeking alternative contractors. The good news is, so far, there have been no redundancies.
And Peter is at the site of the new Midlands Metropolitan Hospital for us this evening. So, Peter, has anything actually happened on site today?
Well, certainly no construction going on this evening. You can see the gates are still locked. The hospital is in there in the background. It is a bit dark, I have to say. But there has been some activity. Contractors removing their equipment, fearing they might lose it. Clearly, there are going to be further delays to this project. Joining me here are Phil Ellis, who you saw on the programme last night, and Stuart Toe from the Black Country LEP, the Local Enterprise Partnership. Phil, we saw you last night. You said you were owed money, you'd lost your job. 24 hours later, what's changed?
Well, nothing's changed, with the exception of me being told by my boss that they're now leaving until further notice. The company has agreed to honour our wages, but that don't change the fact that they're then going to be out of pocket.
So what will you do next?
I've just got to try and find work, and with everybody that walked off site, we're all in the same boat, so it's hard.
Stuart, this is a very complicated project, particularly with funding coming from Carillion. I mean, what do you think they'll do?
Well, it's going to be very difficult, as you said, because clearly the supply chain is going to be blighted by the situation at present. Hopefully, everyone can be aware that profitable businesses in the long term need time to readjust to these issues.
What do you think about this investigation that was launched today to look at directors' conduct?
You would always hope that business is operating with integrity. If it's not, it should be punished. If it is, then you would hope that there's a better understanding going forward of what those issues are.
And what about that helpline that was set up today, the task force? How will that help, do you think, and will it be helpful?
The opportunity to collate all the information that's necessary to put the right sorts of support in place to ensure that those in Carillion's supply chain, people like Phil too, as employees of Carillion, and also businesses down the line can actually get some help, and the LEP can understand better how that can be put to government.
Stuart, many thanks. Well, that helpline did open today. If you want to call it, it's on 01902 912 322. There's also an email address, carillionhelp@blackcountrychamber.co.uk.
OK, Peter Plisner, thank you. A brief look at some of the day's other news now, and 8 people have been